All right, so Politicon is October 20th and October 21st. It is on a weekend, it's a Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be all kinds of panels, there's going to be debates. Now, here is the thing. Okay, Politicon really needs to get their stuff together. Now, I have already made this point on many occasions because it is unbelievable and unacceptable how unprofessional Politicon has actually been because they have failed to legitimately schedule and prepare um, to actually have a legitimate event. This is something that seems super rushed, which it shouldn't be because they've been doing this for like 4 years now, so there's not really any excuse. But uh, news just keeps coming in about how bad Politicon has been in actually setting everything up. It's been so horrible. So David Pakman still doesn't know who he's going to be 1v1 debating. We have no idea if he's even going to be doing a 1v1 debate. There is now the idea floated of he and Kyle Kalinske doing a 2v2 debate with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, which will be awesome. But we don't even know if that's actually going to happen. That's the thing, because how do we know that's actually going to happen? We don't know that because, and I'll explain even further in depth in a second. But we don't even know if that's actually going to happen because people just keep pulling out and canceling in Politicon. So they have failed to actually set up a legitimate system in which they have, verified debates and dates scheduled and everything. I mean, David was we thought he was going to be debating roaming millennial because that's what the website on Politicon said, but apparently that's going to be a panel debate about fake news, which is kind of weird in the first place. And it would have been weird anyways because roaming millennial isn't really on the same plane as David Pakman because they sort of talk about different things. I mean, Roaming Millennial does more video. Pretty much all of her videos actually are about SJWs, and that's pretty much it. And feminists, David, on the other hand, is more policy driven and more of talking about actual politics and what's going on in the news. So it would have seemed weird in the first place, anyways. But we thought that was going to happen. Apparently, that's not going to happen. Apparently, it's going to be a panel debate. But to tell you the truth, and you can mark my words right now, I bet you that's going to fall through. I'm like 99.9% sure that's going to fall through. It just doesn't seem like it's going to work out. It's about fake news. Like, who the hell wants a panel on fake news? Who, on what earth, on what planet is there enough debate on fake news to have a panel debate that's going to last like an hour? That's insane. But, anyways, on top of that, we just got information that Ann Coulter has backed out of the debate with Kyle Kalinske. She backed out. She literally left. And obviously, a lot of the blame goes on Ann Coulter herself, right? Because she's the one who backed out. And that's, cowardly. And it's more unethical than cowardly. And I'll explain why. You don't wait until less than 2 weeks of a convention, an actual event, to pull out. If you want to not do a debate, you decline the debate up front. You don't agree to something and then pull out with the very short amount of time left. That's very unethical. It's highly unethical. But the majority of the blame lies on Politicon because the onus is on them to have legitimate events set up where they have these debates scheduled and everything. You see what I'm saying? And it borderlines on frauding because it's like Kyle explained. He's like, I've been promoting this and I've been telling my fans that I'm going to be debating Ann Coulter, and so people are buying their tickets to come watch me debate Ann Coulter, but now they're not going to see me debate Ann Coulter, so it's like you're borderline frauding them, right? So it's ridiculous. Now, here's something interesting that David Pakman has said, and that's going to follow tune with the Republicans backing out, the conservatives backing out, with Ann Coulter, of course, especially as others. He's going to say that there have been a lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans who have actually chickened out, is the way he put it, of debates. And he finds it to be hypocritical because they talk a big game about debating. Yet it seems to be the case that they have essentially set a trend here of backing out of debates. And the Ann Coulter thing obviously follows suit with that. And I mean, that's going to sort of leave it to speculation. And there's a Sam Cedar situation also that I'll be talking about in another video. But David's gonna explain this here. I want you guys to check it out.
What I want to do, and Kyle and I will be hopefully meeting in LA Friday, Saturday to strategize about this. They could back out. The people on the right, lots of people, lots of right wingers have backed out. I'm not cleared to talk about some of the right wingers that have backed out, but many of my friends thought that they were doing certain things at Politicon, and they aren't. So it's next week. It should really get figured out definitively. It should be figured out definitively pretty soon. Anyone who wants to go can go. I mean, tickets are available online. Google Politicon tickets. It's in Los Angeles. I know that there are people already who have written in saying they are going to make the trek out to Los Angeles. Listen, this is why we have the show. This is why we have membership. We have a need to be out there. We ask for support on Patreon. This stuff is important. We're able to do all of this different stuff because of the infrastructure that we've built. And this is the latest. And a Kyle Kulinski, David Pakman versus Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens debate, I think, could do really, really well for exposing the sort of emptiness of some of the ideologies that people on the right have been purveying relatively successfully.
Yeah, I hope it pans out. I really do, especially because we're only 9 days away from the event.
know.
But seeing how so many other of these panels and these debates have just been getting canceled, they're never booked in the first place. Who knows what will happen?
Yeah, they. I don't want to say more, but let me just put it this way: I hope someday we all come clean. I think people are maybe waiting for after Politicon with the right wingers who effectively chickened out of certain debates. I think people in the audience would be stunned to hear who some of those individuals who claim to be all about debating and then letting the best ideas rise to the top like cream on top of milk. We're going to hopefully someday tell those stories. And by the way, quick note.
All right, this is quite interesting. So David Pakman essentially explaining to us that there are right wingers who are supposedly all about debating, all about debate. Of course, the meme phrase now is free exchange of ideas and things like that. And so it's like, it's pretty hypocritical and embarrassing that they would say that, and then when it comes to the actual legitimate stuff, well, all of a sudden you're not actually down to debate. You were just lying and putting up a front because that's sort of your business model, right? So what does this leave us with? This leaves us with the complete speculation game. So we are left to speculate until we find out the information. I am very, very hopeful that we get the information about how this went down, because it's some pretty important information when it comes to analyzing and really knowing the truth about these different political commentators. So who are some of the people? So there's something interesting about Sam Seder and Steven Crowder that I'll be getting into another video. But who do I think that David is referring to? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know who it could be. But somebody who comes to mind is Ben Shapiro, because to this day, unless you guys know and I don't, if so, let me know. But I don't know who the hell Ben Shapiro is actually debating, because last year was Cenk Uygur. That was like a blockbuster, huge event. That was massive, right? It was crazy. They had to go to a different venue that would suit the capacity necessities, right? And this year, I'm like, okay, Cenk's not going to rematch, thank God. And then you have the three options where all of them would be a good debate for Ben, in my humble opinion, of course. And I'm sure in a lot of yours is as well. Kyle Kulinski, Sam Seder, and David Pakman. Ultimately, I think Pakman would probably be the best debater, and I've explained that before, but I'll briefly explain it again. He is the most formidable debater, I think, out of the three, but also I think Sam Seder's a pretty close one, but David seems to keep his cadence really strongly, and he seems to not really let up like that. And also, he's already debated Ben Shapiro, and it does not, well, if you watched it and you came away with at the least anything but, you literally couldn't say that Shapiro won. It was virtually impossible because he wasn't even able to actually articulate what he wanted to say. He was crossing himself up all over the place, right? So I'm thinking maybe it was Ben Shapiro, maybe because he already knew David Pakman, maybe because he already knew that he couldn't beat David Pakman in the debate. He wanted to save face and not lose. So maybe he decided that it was best for his business as a business move to, not do the debate. Maybe that's who chickened out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've never linked up again after that conversation that they had. They've never linked up again once, which is another sort of thing that would make it seem like that, right? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not claiming to know this. I'm speculating just like you guys are because it's fun to do so. And again, I'm really, really interested to see what the actual people were. But what I'm curious about, here's the thing that I'm really curious about. One thing is he talking about people who were prospects to go to Politicon but pulled out or just turned it down? Or is he talking about people at Politicon who chickened out? That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Because then if you say that there were people who were prospects to go to Politicon, that's opening up a whole nother Pandora's box of how many people could it be, all these different amounts of people. But I don't know. Honestly, I really have no idea. The only person I could think of is Ben Shapiro. But let me know down below in the comment section who you think it is. And I think this is going to be very interesting.